Hello, good morning, everyone. Greetings to you, Habari Yako from Nakuru, Kenya. Today, let's have a conversation about the relocation process of living in Africa, in my case, living in Kenya, some of the observations and things that I have seen based on the culture and society and the differences of living in America as opposed to living on the continent of Africa. And of course, there are 54 countries on the continent. Each country has its own unique culture, and even within each country, there are differences based on the region of the country you're from. Same thing is true in America. America is a country of 50 states, and every region of the country is different. Every American's experience is different, just like every Kenyan's experience is different. So you cannot necessarily say I met a Kenyan and this is how Kenyans are. Same as you can't say I met an American and this is how Americans are. That happened to be the way that particular Kenyan or that particular American is with you in particular. So never put everybody in the same boat. Never put a country, group of it as one group of people who all think alike, march alike, talk alike. America's not like that. Neither is Kenya, nor any other African country, or not just African country, but any country around the world. And that's mainly what I want to speak about today, is that the global perspective that we need to have. Yes, it's great to promote and be excited and value your own culture, but in today's society, your particular unique culture is only unique to you. Other people really don't care what tribe you're from. Other people on a global perspective don't really care what country you're from. People generally in this society today, and this is unfortunate, only look at mostly transactional relationships. They have to get something out of it. And that's quite unfortunate. And that's even the culture that's a part of a lot of religions, particularly some, in my instance, I've experienced that a lot. I come from a Christian background, and so I'm a minister of the gospel. Both the spiritual side and practical side of life has to find that balance. But you'll find that even within the quote-unquote church or some religions, relationships are transactional. People are looking not just to give something toward it, and I'm not talking materially or financially, because that's one of the biggest hustles of religion, particularly in the Christian non-denominational religions. It's a transaction. Even they make the relationship with God seems to be a transaction. You give to God, you expect something from God, God gives it back to you. At least that is the premise of a lot of the false theologies that are out here. So you have to be careful, and that's true not only in America, that's true in Africa. I found it to be true right here in Kenya, that people allow other people to manipulate them in their thinking, and they seem to lose any type of compass for independent thinking or independent thought. And that's a trap that will keep you stagnant in life and will hold you back from reaching your full potential in life. So you have to break free of the propaganda or the stereotypes that the world may give you, particularly through media. And the same is true for social media. People say, well, I saw it on Facebook, or I saw it on TikTok or Twitter, so it must be true. I saw it on YouTube, so it must be true. You have to have critical thinking, saints. And the same is true when it comes to a lot of people may relocate to other countries, or in America, you can relocate to another state that is very different from the neighboring state. I was raised in South Carolina, which is in the southeastern part of the U.S. I've also lived in California, in Texas, in Illinois. And so each region of the country is different. There are even some cultural differences. And here's the thing about America that a lot of people don't really understand, particularly a lot of my African colleagues here in Kenya, that America has no culture. America is a country of immigrants. Everybody from that lives in America, other than the Native Americans, are from somewhere else. They imported their culture into American society. That's why there is no homogenous group of Americans. So America is what you make it, in spite of the challenges that presents itself. I'm born and raised in America as a quote-unquote black man in the South. My parents faced racism. My grandparents faced racism, and my great-grandparents experienced slavery in America. But I don't use that as an excuse or a crutch. I use it as motivation. And so I was thinking earlier today about what's the difference between slavery and colonization. And just in a simplistic term, slavery meant you were taken from your country and made to obey masters in a foreign country. Colonization seemed to mean you were made a slave in your own country, and you had to bow down to the colonial masters. It's the same thing. Some people want to separate it into two different things, but it affects the psyche of the people who were made slaves and or those who were colonized. And it's still very much a lot of lingering effects of that, mental, emotional. The way you perceive yourself in the world is still viewed as reliant on the people who either colonized you or the people who enslaved you. And I explain to a lot of my African comrades when they have conversations about what's life like in America for black people. I had questions like, hey, I heard that blacks can't own land in America. Well, I have to educate some of my African friends, colleagues. Of course, as black Americans, you can own land in America. In fact, I own land in America. Okay, my parents owned land in America. My grandparents owned land in America. So there's a lot of misconceptions and things that people may have about black experience in America. I tell some of my friends and family here that you watch too much television. The black movies that you may have watched, it just depicts one small segment of the black American experience in America. You may see many black Americans on YouTube explaining their experience in America. My experience has been, in most cases, totally different than what their experience have been. So don't put your mind in a box and only think within the parameters of that box. You have to take away all limits. In this global society, if you're watching this video, then you have access to the world. YouTube will expose you to the world in ways that you never probably would have been exposed to through any other time in life. But you need to learn to take advantage of the opportunities that this type of venue and this access to global cultures and even economies can affect your life in a very positive way. And just as it is with anything else in the world, something can be used for either good or bad. A gun can be used to save someone's life or to murder someone, you see. So the internet, social media, all of these things have the same propensity to be used for quote unquote good or evil. And I want you to be able to tap into the good side of these things, particularly when it comes from a global perspective of race and religion. At the end of the day, none of the labels that we place upon ourselves is going to matter. But what will matter is how you live your life today. The way you treat people, the contributions you're making to the society, or the lack of contribution in some people's cases that you're making to society. I want each of us to examine ourselves and expand our minds, expand our thinking, use their interaction with other cultures. Here in Kenya, I have a staff of people that man our businesses, our cafes, our nail spas, our business development center. We have a community council in our village area in Salai, where we're developing our retreat and wellness center and community that will serve locals with job opportunities, as well as travel, safari opportunities, place for people who local or foreign to come, relax, relate, and refresh themselves spiritually, physically, mentally. So We are trying to make sure that we don't just be a taker from society. We want to be a contributor to society. And each of us has something to contribute to this world. Just don't allow people to set parameters for your thinking. Expand your thinking beyond what society would normally want everyone to think, because there's a system in place to keep some people where they are while other people continue to expand. You know, someone wants to be in control, and in order to be in control, there has to be someone that you are controlling. And one of the first ways people get you to control you is through your thinking. That's why the Bible says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And that's what I hope this conversation will spur some of that ignition, or put fuel on the fire to cause it to burst into full flame of your creative energy and your thinking abilities. Because the world has a lot to offer us. When you have the right perspective on life, you'll find that in this life, you can accomplish more than you ever dreamed of. Just got to break out of that cycle of other people determining what your life should look like. Don't let other people define to you what happiness looks like, what economic success looks like. You have to determine what success looks like in your own mind. I don't believe success for me equates to the size of a house I have, the kind of car I have, the type of clothes I wear, the title of my job, or in ministry, the number of ministries or congregation members I have. I don't measure success for me based on those parameters that other people may set for themselves. And so when you are letting other people define your life for you, you're simply trying to, what we call in America, keep up with the Joneses. So please ask questions, do research. The internet is full of all the type of information that you can get from independent sources in most cases, but look at all sides of the equation. If you're looking at moving to America, look at it from all the different perspectives of people. I can give you my perspective. I have lots of experience. I have family there. I have workers there, employees, team members in my companies. Ministries are based there, properties there. We have a retreat center there in America as well that does the same missions that we're doing here in Africa, particularly in Kenya. And so one of the key things that I find, even though here in Kenya, society is mostly community oriented, but I find in those communities, there's a lot of fragmentation, and there's an underlying current of tension, particularly with, even though Kenya is one, they still have these distinct tribes and languages, which is good. I appreciate all the differences among everyone. And for the most part, the people that I've interacted with, they appreciate the differences. But the key word is they notice the differences between these persons. Some of my colleagues say, hey, this person looks like a Jalua, this person looks like a Kikuyu, this person looks like a Lua, looks like they're from Kisi, so things like that. So it's okay to recognize the differences among people, but don't allow those differences to create prejudice type of thinking and cause division. Same thing in America. America, black, white, Hispanic, Latin American, Italian American, Jewish American. We're big on recognizing the differences of Americans, but we fail to sometimes unite around the commonalities that makes America what it can be. And there's still a lot of potential that America has not reached and may not reach if we don't turn these things around. And I really don't want to see that type of prevailing thinking come to the continent of Africa. So even though there are political differences, and there always will, there were political differences during the time of Jesus, and there probably will always be political differences until Jesus returns. So don't just throw away the good things that you have in your society because of some of the bad things that are happening. America has a lot of good things that it offers, and it has some things that are less than desirable. I served in the military, traveled around the world with the U.S. flag on my shoulders, on my uniforms, saluting the American flag at the beginning and ending of each day. And America has done me well. I'll just say God has done me well in America, and God is doing me well here in Africa. And I think one of the reasons why, that exposure that I got to the global scene, being in the military, traveling to other countries, seeing how other people live, their languages, their customs, their culture, is really helped to position me in this time and season of my life where I can see the world through a more well-rounded perspective. And that's why I really want to take this time to say, yeah, I'm currently living in Africa. I've been living in Africa for the last 6 months. I go back and forth from America to Africa, still have businesses, still have property, still have family there. Each of my family members have different experiences in life. All my employees have different experiences in life. So yes, America has things to offer. Kenya has things to offer, and I'm sure every other country of the world. There are people who are prospering, and there are some people who are struggling. But look, the struggle is only a struggle in your mind, because you don't have to have a lot to enjoy life a lot. You just have to find your mental space, find a spiritual space for you to say, you know what, my life is the way. It may not be what everybody else's life is, but I'm content. I'm content with my life. And if those of you who are not content, you want to strive for what you perceive to be a better life, then make sure that you don't lose yourself in the process. Don't lose what makes you, you, or what makes life good to you. Don't base your life on things, possessions. Those things are only transactional, and you end up having transactional relationships. You must build authentic, real relationships. No amount of money will love you. People may love money, but let me tell you, money will never love you. You must have good, authentic, genuine relationships to make your life rich in a social way, in an emotional way, a mental way, even a spiritual way. Authentic relationships are one of the most valuable things that you can have and pursue in this life. So please don't sell yourself short by pursuing just material wealth. Pursue emotional and social and physical wealth as well. And I think this will be some keys that will help you to find perhaps the missing joy, the peace, tranquility that you may have in life, whether that's in America or whether that's in Africa or Latin America, South America, Europe, island nations, Asia, wherever you are. It's time to press the pause button and reflect on who you are and who you want to be, and how you can create your own space and place in this world, not just geographically, but emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Well, that's just a little insight that I want to share with everyone today. Again, I want to see each of you living your best life and being the best version of yourself, no matter where you are around the world. Feel free to reach out and connect with me. We're loving our interaction with people that we're communicating with through our Chat and Connect International WhatsApp group. If you're interested in being a part of that Chat and Connect group, where we exchange cultural ideas, develop friendships, have genuine, deep conversations about life, about culture, about our experiences, about faith, about economics, I love to communicate with you as well. That's Chat and Connect International. I'll leave a link to the WhatsApp group in the description for this video. But in the meantime, I pray, it is my prayer and my thoughts, warm thoughts for each of you, that you will find yourself in this big world. There's something uniquely designed just for you. Kwaheri, have a great day. I look forward to speaking to you in the next video. Ciao.